guess before we go any further, since a lot of people are unfamiliar with the name of J.X. Williams, why don't we, I'm not sure who to ask first, but I want to kind of first sort of set up why it is that we're here, why anyone would care to even listen to this. Like, why is J.X. Williams important?
Well, I'm personally kind of fascinated by J.X. Williams as a kind of anomaly or a sort of hiccup in film history.
I mean, in a way, I'd consider him sort of a cinematic version of the German collage artist John Hartfield, who was doing stuff in the 30s that logically couldn't be done without Photoshop, but just because he had such a clear vision of what he wanted, he could, call it into existence with an X-Acto and an enlarger. And
to give you the historical context, I think that when these films were being made, it was such an assembly line of these exploitation pictures being made. They just had to have a quota of bare breasts and people getting their heads chopped off. And as long as you could fulfill that quota, you had 60% of a film you could do something else with.
Yeah.
And I think, to a lot of exploitation directors, a lot of porn directors, they don't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
JX, that was the part where he actually had his fun and he did the interesting stuff. When it got to the other things, I thought a lot of times, it was bad.
Excuse me, Dr. Chasey, but I do feel that this isn't a project for the both of us. It is my operation,
Dr. Knight, we of the medical profession accept no personal glory in our discoveries. Every step forward is shared by all. Correct, Doctor? Or do you use patients only as guinea pigs for your personal gain? There is no room for ego in medicine, Doctor.
If that's true, Dr. Chasey, then your immediate resignation is in order. Your degenerate tactics are a disgrace.
Oh, come now, Dr. Knight. No sour grapes, please. I can't help it if I don't find you very desirable. You're a cold fish, Dr. Knight. Face it.
It's really hard to tell the difference between ineptitude and genius sometimes.
Right.
Like, there's really a lot. I mean, that's like a lot of what camp is, and a lot of that's why guys like Jack Smith, they're watching Cobra Woman, or it's like, or Ed Wood is a good example. Like Ed Wood's films are so bizarrely inept that they border on experimental.
Yeah.
And like, at what point do you go, oh, you're dealing with intentional fallacy stuff. At what point do you go, like, was this intentional? And like,
I mean, I think a big part, of the interest of the films, for me, is watching the scenes or watching the films in order and seeing the way that they point to, his biography. And you're like, why is this horrible woman who can't do an accent like the star of this movie? Oh, she was screwing him. Yeah. Why does the camera never move in the scene even though the actors are on the other side of the room? That was when he stormed off the set.
I don't think he cared for a minute. I think he just thought he was making garbage, and it's just like whatever's entertaining himself that day, or maybe trying to impress the chick he's trying to fuck, or it doesn't mean he wasn't having a good time, or whatever a good time is for him.
I met this guy once who claimed to be J.X. Williams' drug dealer, and he told me some pretty far out stories about he never seen someone be able to consume so many drugs and different kinds mixed together. I don't know if it's true or not, but then
what was his favorite combo?
Basically, they called it a suicide diarrhea, and it was like it's everything.
He coined that term, or that was what it was known as?
I think he coined it, and they just threw it all in a blender with protein powder, and, pills.
Now, was he taking these on the set, or was this just like his downtime?
I don't know. Probably both.